So,
Yep. Sorry.
oh, that's all good. So, I am the engineering BIM manager with Ware Malcom. We're international architecture, engineering, interiors, building measurement group. We have surveying in-house and all that. And I've been with them about 7 years in one form or another. And I've been working in architecture, engineering, and surveying since 1994. So going on 27 years, 28 years. Far too long,
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, I think the 90s was a good year. Good
Yeah.
decade.
I mean, we had tight rolled jeans and a lot of fun in the 90s, and tight rolled jeans are kind of back again, you know. I just know from my kids. So.
Cool. Let's see. I've noticed everybody's introducing themselves. Yeah, if you want to post where you're calling in from, and then if everybody can mute themselves also, that's good. Appreciate it. And then we'll get started here in about a few seconds. And then Justin will take it off and get into a little Dynamo.
Awesome.
So, yeah, if you want to kind of go over what you're about to go over in Dynamo, maybe.
Cool. Can you see my screen, Tony?
Yep. I can see the screen.
Well, cool. So Dynamo Soup. It's kind of like word soup, you know, word soup is kind of slang for, you know, having troubles in or just a mixture of things. And Dynamo is kind of a buzzword in our industry. You know, some people want to use it. Some people use it. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to build 3 scripts. We're going to build one that will automate your vicinity map by connecting into OSM, you know, OpenStreetMap data. We're going to create one that you can select a pipe network pipe and add your HGLs to it, you know. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create one for survey folks that might join. And we're going to automatically label a boundary. So say you don't have a parcel and you need to label it with line and curve information. That's what we're going to do. So when I was talking to my wife about this, you know, she was like, oh, maybe call it, you know, Dynamo for Dummies. And I didn't want people to get turned off from that, you know. Some people have varying degrees of knowledge. And then again, like I said, it's a buzzword. Some companies, from the executive team down, they're like, hey, you need to start using Dynamo. What in the heck is Dynamo? I don't know. I saw it was installed with my latest, you know, Autodesk Civil 3D install.
Yeah.
So today, you know, we're going to go over just some very quick, you know, we're going to hit a few basic things and then we're going to kind of jump in. And like I said, these are 3 scripts that you're going to be able to build on your own or with me and use immediately in your workflows. So sound good?
Sounds good. Sounds great.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So move some stuff out of the way there. And you can still see my screen again, correct, Tony? I'm just thumbs up. You're on mute.
Thumbs up.
Okay, cool. So Dynamo, once you install it, it's good for Civil 3D 2020.2 and up. So you can install it for 21 and 22. And where it lives is on the Manage tab on your ribbon. So we're going to go here to Manage, and you're going to see Dynamo, Dynamo Player. Looks like I had it open earlier. Just close that. All right. So when you open up Dynamo, people say it's visual programming. What it is, takes some of the basic fundamentals of coding out of your hands. Some people have already built some of these tools for you. So that's really handy if you don't have, you know, an in-depth knowledge of coding. This is right up your alley. So it's visual, you can see it. And we're just going to go to new. There. So this is your normal workspace that you're going to see. I'm going to change it from automatic to manual so that we can kind of do it as we want here. Some of the most important things today are some packages. We install ours on the network. And then we path everyone to those folders. So they have the most current and up to date. But the 3 packages that we really want to showcase today are Dynamaps. This was built, I think in 2017 for an AEC hackathon. So we're going to go here to Dynamaps. And then you want to download this. And like I said, we put ours on the network. So, I would put this on the network, and then under Dynamo preferences, I would path everyone to that folder. So they have the most current. So I've already got Dynamaps pathed here. Another one that we want to make sure that we have is the Civil 3D Toolkit. Dynamo, is very robust, but it was originally made for Revit, and it doesn't have all the Civil 3D nodes that you might need. So this is why we use the Dynamo Civil 3D Toolkit. Paulo Serra is one of the, I think, product managers for Dynamo, and the DynaBIM forum is an amazing place to get information. And so there's a GitLab or GitHub for this, or repository. So if there's any issues with it, you can post in the forum, or you can post on GitHub and see as those things get addressed. So that's one that you're going to want to download. A new one that's come out recently by a gentleman by the name of Zachary Jensen is Camber. What it does, it takes some of the things that are missing from the Civil 3D Toolkit, and it gives you that ability. We will be using this package today. So this is one you're going to want to download. And then the last one I really want to highlight is one from Adam Riley, AMR Sheet Set Manager. Today, we're not going to build out any Sheet Set Manager functionality, but you need to have this on your radar. This is very important. This will allow you the ability to edit your sheet set DST file, renumber quickly, some of those things that are not found readily available unless you buy an application. This is a really robust tool. So going over the packages there. So over here, what we're going to see is some of those add-ons that I have in here. And so Dynamaps is the big one. And again, and this is our first script that we're going to build today. Dynamaps allows us to connect live to the openstreetmap.org website and interface with it. We can download data. We can download roads. We can download buildings, outlines of buildings, landscape elements. There is topography in it, but it works better with Revit, in my opinion, and not so much with Civil 3D. So I don't really want anybody to depend on that information. And then also, if you do a Google search for Dynamaps, there's some really good videos that Mustafa had done showcasing his software. So those are the first things we're going to do today. So like I said, we're going to connect to live data. So if we go over here and expand a little bit, we're going to see buildings, topography, roads, trees. Well, I need the road data in my drawing. So say you're creating a vicinity map, and sometimes you can get away with a municipality allowing you to use the Bing imagery or near map imagery. But sometimes they just want to see basic line work. And, in the past, we would task an intern with, drawing over a map. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. So what I've done is I've taken this, and we have a node here. All of the items over here on the left-hand side are called nodes. And then we can connect them to other nodes using wires. But since this is a polycurve, it kind of gives us the name of the output. And we can also go to help. We'll pop up over here, and it gives us some inputs and outputs. But again, this was created early on. The last time it was updated was 2019. So all of this information isn't filled out. So again, that's why we're working together today. So what I'd like to do is I need to get some object data by geometry. I know that because I built this out before. So I'm just going to right click and just start typing object. Again, if I could spell by geometry. And it's just that simple. Once you hit enter, it pops it in here. And again, this comes with a little bit of time and practice determining what you need. And again, this isn't basic, but it's not advanced. This is pretty simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to start connecting some of this information up. And so layer, I want to tell it what layer I want this to draw these polylines on. So you can put a string in here by double clicking. You can put a code block, which allows you a lot of flexibility and functionality to do things inside of it. So I'm just going to put in the layer that I want to. Super simple. I'm going to just call it vicinity. You want to have it in quotations, and you want to end it this way. So it kind of knows that you're getting, you know, the information. And then full disclosure, I'm using the latest Dynamo core build. I think it's 2.13. In it, it allows you some functionality to double click to do autocomplete. So what I want is I want the block, but I want it in my current, I want the document information in my current model space. So I'm going to just start typing model space. Something very simple. And again, it doesn't know that I want it in my current drawing. So I just double click. This is, again, a new function in 2.13 or the latest Dynamo core build. I just got a new computer, so I kind of think my graphics card, I need to keep tweaking it a little bit. So bear with me on that one, why you can't see everything. So we have just a super basic script. We're going to pull this information from Dynamaps, from OpenStreetMap. We're going to place it on this layer. We want it in our current drawing. And again, I just have a blank drawing over here that I titled VicMap. Super simple. Now, if we go over to view, we can launch the Dynamaps viewer. And what this does, it allows us to pull that information from anywhere on the board. So you should be able to see that I've got a map of the world here. We're just going to type in somewhere, and since this is for the DFWBIUG infrastructure users group, let's just go to Dallas, Texas. Take me there. I haven't been to Dallas in a long time. I don't know where Deep Ellum is at or the West End or whatever, Tony, but why don't we say that we've got a project here and we want to pull in all of this information. Everything in this window is going to extract and bring that line work to Dynamo or into Dynamo and then create the geometry in Civil 3D for us. So push to Dynamo and it's going to run. It's going to do its thing. Right down here, we can see that the run has started. And then over here in just a moment or two, we should be able to see that data coming to our drawing. Well, that's running. Tony, is there anything in the chat?
Not right now. If anybody wants to post questions, we'll try to answer them as we go. I guess my question is, does it tell you the, year of the data you're downloading or importing in from the topo or any area from this Dynamaps? Does it tell you, when it was created?
So the topography, I believe, is from the SRTM data, shuttle reconnaissance topography mission. It's NASA data that's available for everyone.
Okay.
But it's only good. The information is like 30 meters. So, we're talking 100 feet. So it's not really, like I said, I don't really use that portion of it. I don't find it quite as robust at all. So what we can do is, since we've got this information, we can kind of see the line work here. And we're going to go over this in just a moment. We can close this. What it does, it caches the information for us. So what I want to do is I want to kind of see what's going on with my line work. And if you're used to InfraWorks, Recap, it's just a right click and you can orbit around. So we're starting to see that line work populate in here. And if we go back to our code, we can minimize this and then zoom extent here in Civil 3D. And we can see we've got all of this road line work. Just imagine that this is our sheet. Let me I have a rectangle here for my sheet layout. I'm going to just put a viewport in there, set it to 500. And this is kind of our vicinity now. You can hatch your area or do whatever you need. Say that I need to show the buildings in here too. Well, we've got this information aggregated. It's already pulled together. Well, let's go to buildings. Let's see what's in here. We've got building footprints as polygons. That kind of works because I'm already drawing polygons. And this is for surfaces. And what it'll do, it'll put your buildings on the surface. But again, I don't really think the data is very accurate at all at 30 meters. So I don't like to use that. But we are going to bring in the building footprints. So we're just going to go ahead and put that node over here. And again, I want to bring in the polygons. So I've already got a node here. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to place it over here. I don't want it on the same layer, you can. So let's get that curve data in. All the information from our model space, we want it to draw in there, so we can just connect that. Let me slide this out of the way. So get to where we can't see it all. So we can kind of see what's going on. And you can do another code block. We can just copy and paste that, or we can just hit enter and we can continue our scripting. So say I want to call it map-BLDG for buildings. Close it off like that. Add this here. And then we should be able to start seeing our buildings populate when we hit run. And so those are going to go on a separate layer. And again, it just takes just a few seconds. It's a pretty big area with a lot of roads in Dallas. I'm not quite sure where the area is at, but
you're pretty close downtown, pretty much. One of the questions that came in was, do you need a coordinate system? Does Dynamaps use a coordinate system? And then the next question that came in was, what kind of road line work are we seeing? Are they just approximate pavement edges?
So, like I said, I recently got a new computer, and I think I need to adjust my my resolution and a few things. On here, you would see the information that's on the OSM wiki page. You would see, the motorway, the residential street, primary, secondary, bike paths, all of those types of trails. All of that information is in here. And then, like I said, normally you can select one and not the others, and it could pull just your bike paths in for you. However, they classify the data on OSM. And since OSM is open source, if you're doing a lot of work in the area in which you live and you start seeing that things are classified wrong, create a free account and update that information. Everything that's aggregated from here is pulled from users, so it's only as accurate as the users allow it to be. So we can see that now we start to have some building outlines in here. And so what we can do is then take that geometry here, and we could hatch it. There's a lot of things that we could do for it, to make it more robust for us. So, from here, I like to let my users know what information they're getting or how to use the software. So, I would group all of these together. Let's create a group. And I would let them know that, they need to go to packages, download Civil 3D Toolkit, and go to packages, Dynamaps, gist of it, and then to run, go to View, Dynamaps, and then browse to location, save this on the network, and allow everyone access to it. I know sometimes we live in this like iPhone, iPad world, but really sharing this with your entire team makes your entire team that more robust and stronger. I used to have an expression I was surveying is you're only as fast as your slowest rodman. So you're only as fast as your slowest drafter. So making sure everyone has the tools is clutch here. So before we move on from Dynamaps, does anybody have any questions about it? Again, I know, Tony, you did ask about a coordinate system, or there was a question about it.
Yep.
I've tried to get the coordinate system tool to work in here to push it. And, take me to project site coordinates.
Yep.
You can see how it launches Revit. So it kind of gives you the insight of information for Revit. If I were to set my coordinate system in here, which we can do pretty quickly, it'll cause it to crash. I've never got it to work with Civil 3D.
Mm-hmm.
What it does, it takes the center of your map. So when we were zoomed into Dallas, let's just go back there. What it does, it kind of takes the center of the information that you're pulling in and places it at 0, 0. So, if we go down here to 0, 0, just draw a line from 0, 0. You can kind of see it's in the center of the map.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, that functionality is built in and it's optimized for Revit. I haven't ever got it to work with Civil 3D.
Mhm.
Since this package hasn't been updated since 2019, I'm not so sure that we're going to ever get that functionality in there.
Yep.
So,
My next question would be, if you did create this in 2022, would it be backwards compatible if somebody opened this in 2020 and you put it on the server and they opened up their Civil 3D and went to this file and ran it?
it would definitely be backwards compatible to 2020.2, as long as they have all of the nodes installed or they're pathed to the network location of the packages. That's the big thing. They would just get an error with a red bar across it that says it's unresolved. So, all right, so let's move on. So anybody that does scan analysis, some municipalities require showing the HGLs and EGLs, some don't. And if they don't, they probably will shortly. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a script that allows us to run in Dynamo Player, which is a really friendly interface to allow anybody, not, they don't need to kind of see how the sausage is made. It allows them just a really clean interface to edit the HGL, EGL, or any parameters of a pipe network. So let me go ahead and launch Dynamo. We'll build the script out and we'll show how to use some of the information as inputs to allow for use of Dynamo Player. I know I'm on my third cup of coffee and it doesn't seem like it, but I'm trying to,
I'm definitely with you. I'm on my wrapping up my second one, so I'll be getting going here.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to click new. And the components that we're going to use here come from the Civil 3D toolkit. And you can use this with a spreadsheet. But what we're going to do is we're going to just do one pipe at a time. We're just going to, we need to select an object. And so we're just simply going to select object. Select object. It's pretty simple. I'm going to change this to manual. I have mine set to automatic. And then what we need are some information about our pipe network. So actually, let's go ahead and select our pipe. This pipe. And so anything that we want to manipulate, we need to get the index. So let's go ahead and go to, I just type get parameters. I want to see all the parameters of that pipe. Like I said, my graphics card and how it's interacting with Zoom causing a little irritation. Oh, that one's got a block for block extensions. Let's get parameters. This has an object input, so that's perfect. I kind of want to see what's going on, and I'm going to run it. I want to see what all parameters I can get. So in here, we can see the layer that it's on, the length. We can see hydraulic grade line up, down, energy grade line, flow rate. We'll get all that information from here. So what I want to do is I want to get some of the information here to populate it. So let's go ahead and set those parameters by value. And I see object peeking out down there. That's the one I want. So pretty simply, we're just going to plug and play. We know that we want that. The parameter that we want is hydraulic grade line up. This one here. I just copy it. I'm going to just create a code block. I knew that was going to do it actually. What I did, it put all the information in there. So let's just scroll down. I'll just copy it from here. Hydraulic grade line up. Let's get rid of it. Spelled right. Let's double check because the way my spelling's been going today. Trust it. There we go. So, let's copy it. We want to, set the hydraulic rate here. Make sure this is down. So again, this is for each parameter. So we've got 2 parameters that we want to set. We're going to go ahead and copy and paste. Up. Now values. I want to be able to have the functionality to put a number in. So we should be able to just double click, go to number. Click, put a number. Like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to make this run in Dynamo Player. So what I need to do is give the user some inputs. So I'm going to rename this node to select pipe, storm network, update HTML information so the user knows what's going on. And I kind of like to make sure that I rename and set them as input in the order I want the user to put the information in. So if you were to do the numbers first, they would have the pipe selected first. I just try to make it intuitive as they go down the list. So we've got this piece of information. Let's go ahead and rename this node. And that is hydraulic grade line up. So HDL upstream. That. I want to make that input. Same with this one. I want the users to be able to know what they're putting data into. So HDL downstream. And I want to make that input also. So pretty simple. And then I'm going to save this. Save this on my desktop. Shield. I'm just going to go ahead and close Dynamo. Let's open up Dynamo Player. Browse to my desktop. See desktop. This main folder, and you'll see this HDL tool is now there. So what we want to do is edit the inputs. So just give us a quick sec. Maybe it's quicker than that. So I don't know. Again, zoom on my graphics card. I need to make sure it's optimized for the massive amounts of webinars I do in a year. You're on mute, Tony.
Anybody have any questions why he's going through this process for this hydraulic input? Does anybody do hydraulics? That's the next question. We got to need some engineers. I know I do hydraulics almost on a weekly basis on projects. So I don't know if anybody, if we have some engineers online or not. So
yep. This is the parameters of the pipe. So right here, select the pipe. We're just going to go ahead and select the pipe. We're going to set the upstream value as 123.45. And our downstream value as 99. It doesn't really matter. So this is just some numbers so that we can see it, and then we're going to hit play. And so we see that the run is completed. And if we were to go over here and check the properties of the pipe, so we'll go to pipe properties, scroll right down here to HGL and EGL. So we see that hydraulic grade line up is 123.45. Grade line down is 99.99, just like what we had set. So really powerful. Like I said, you can export from StormCAD to a spreadsheet, update all your pipe slopes. You could do pipe sizes, HGL up and down, EGL up and down all at the same time. So again, this is just if, got a pipe or two that you need to make some changes and you're good to go. So
I guess my question is that, when you run the routine here, is it really meant for one pipe, or do you just window, like if you want to do the whole pipe network and window all of it, it would just have a whole complete list?
So what I had done was I intentionally said select object, not objects, because some of that information, whether it's updating the inverts of a pipe or the pipe sizes, when you're doing inverts, they're individual to the pipe. So I made sure to select object. It will pull up Dynamo and kind of show that real fast. So here's that HDL tool. So you can see how it says object, not objects, but let me, I think I can go to help and it will tell us the original name of the node. So object selection, not objects. And so you can see here it selects an object. If you're wanting to select multiple objects, you would just do select objects. And then you would be able to select multiple objects and change the pipe diameter of 10 pipes at once or 15. But again, it's all dependent on the parameters of the pipe. So this one is specific to the HGL up and down. So yeah, good question, Tim. So why don't we move on to our third one? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here. And I just drew in a section. It's 5280 by 5280. And say that we have a boundary in here that we need to label. This particular script is utilizing the camber tools. And so say we have a boundary. Let's just have fun. Something like this. Say it follows the thread of a string or something. So our area is 280 acres, and say we have some difficulty with parcels, or we can use parcel tools for this, but say you had a script on your ribbon and you wanted just to label really quickly with Dynamo. So we can do that. So let's go back to Dynamo. Let's go ahead and create a new script. Yeah. So again, we're working in our current document and its model space. We draw in model space. If anybody draws in paper space, there's a bigger discussion to be had than just Dynamo. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull in some information from the model space. And again, we kind of showed this in the last one. So document.model space. I'm sure Civil 3D is some crash, but we'll try to work around that. I'm going to auto connect to the current document. It's not fair. Well, let's turn off manual. Good old Civil 3D and Autodesk. And then I drew that on a layer. We can see that. Go ahead, Tony.
At least it didn't totally crash on me.
Not yet. Fingers are crossed. So we can see that I drew that boundary on the layer up there on the quick properties, the property boundary. So what I want to do is I want to grab all the information or the objects on that layer. So we're just going to type objects on layer and see if that pulls up anything for us. Let's go to all objects on layer. Object. Goodness. Object. Layer. Layer. Why don't we go search over here? I don't know what it's called. So objects by property, all objects of type. Oh, objects. all objects on layer. So again, we've got our block. And let's put a code block in here by double clicking. We're going to just duplicate that name. So B property. Something super simple like that. This geometry is a polyline. I want every line to be labeled or every curve to be labeled. So I kind of need to explode that geometry. So in Dynamo, I just need to type object explode. If we were to run the tool, once we get the nodes completed without exploding it, it would label the very first segment of the parameter because it's one object. You know, it has one object ID, not individual ones. So we're going to do that. And then in Camber, we're going to go over here to Civil 3D labels to general segment label by object. Super simple. And ratio, we're just going to add a number slider and just keep it set to 1. And then we've got our line and curve label styles that we want to use. So we're just going to use a general line label style. This will allow us to drop down and pick what we have in our drawing. Let's see what's going on. I got a few things. I feel like that error I received. We're going to do that. We're going to save this real fast. Open it back up. Let's call this. Was it? I think this .NET errors are really going to affect the script here. So give me a second. Nothing like saying, heck with it, we're going to do it live, you know. Up here on mute.
So this routine is going to basically allow you to add labels for enclosed polylines, kind of like a partial label, and add the labels at the same time.
Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it add the labels for us. And, you know, you can have it add an area label. If you had easements in here, it could label your easements for you, your lots. I mean, so we're just kind of doing a high level here, but whatever a person would want to do, they're capable by using the script. So if you do a lot of easement exhibits, for example, you could have it automatically do that and then even place a dimension and put more information in there. So let's go ahead and try this one more time now that it's opened up. General line label styles.
Yep.
Drop it down. There we go. We're starting to see all the information. I think what it was that .NET error. And then so what we need are general curve label styles also. So again, you can get this. All these are in the Camber package. So general curve label styles. We're going to pick all data. We want all of that data labeled. And again, we're just going to hit run. And it's already complete. You can see how quick it is. So we can see that we've got the varying distances, the calls for the curve in here. You know, you have full ability to move those out. And if you look at however you see fit. So again, this is just high level, you know, we just did the boundary, but if you had lots in there and curves, you could put curve tags. If you have the center line, easements, anything like that, you could automate with just a one-click button.
So will it warn you if one of the polylines is not enclosed, like there's a 1 foot gap or something, or a point something gap? Will it warn you, or just won't run the routine? And just
it'll still put a length and varying the distance on the line, you know, but that's where the integrity of good drafters come in,
Yeah.
making sure that lines are extended.
Well, if let's say you did create a label style that gave you acreage, what would it happen? What do you think would happen if it didn't really enclose and it was off by 0.01 or something? You know how accurate the software is. So
right. I don't know. I haven't experienced that.
Yeah.
I've
we all make mistakes. I make mistakes before, and I'm drawing really fast and we leave gaps and stuff. And just kind of curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. If it wasn't closed, it wouldn't know that it's a polygon to give you an area, so it might not label that one.
Yep.
That's probably how it would work.
Somebody posted, "What if I need a coordinate on all breakpoints?" So I guess the north and eastings or a coordinate on our breakpoints. I think I've seen somebody do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can. So let's bring this back up. If I had a northing and easting style for the line and curve tables, yes, it would give you that information.
Okay. Good question. Yeah. Go ahead and if you have any more additional questions, go ahead and pop it in the chat.
Again, it's extremely powerful. You know? So many examples out there in videos. It's just extremely robust.
So Tom wrote, even if you click the first point to visually close the object, the software probably would still treat it as an unclosed polyline.
Right.
Somebody did. I guess we can answer this at the end of this webinar. But somebody did ask, is it true the rumors that Dynamo may be going away or evolving? And so I think that's you might get different answers from different people on that.
Unfortunately, I'm not privy to that.
So I know it's a big thing on Revit. People are still very, very new to it on the civil side. So it's still it's only been out for 2 years. So
since about 2019 when they released 2020.2. So maybe a skosh over 2 years.
Somebody wrote, Michelle wrote, what's a good reference for beginners to look into try Dynamo examples and stuff. So I think Autodesk does have a link where you can download a bunch of examples. And if you have something you want to share. Yeah.
So if we go here to help, there are samples. And then the Dynamo website, I talked about this just a few moments ago. This takes you to the GitHub on Dynamo. So you can kind of see what's going on. If you're familiar with it, you can go in here and look at each node and how it works. And then also under help, there should be the forum link. So Dynamo website, Dynamo dictionary. So there's an item called the Dynamo primer. It's really good. And so the community is the forum, and then there's different learning and paths in here. It's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, so I learned by doing and following some videos and figuring it out in 2019 and going through the Dynamo primer. While it's mainly for Revit, it could benefit from an update, of course, for Civil 3D, but the Dynamo BIM forums here. So forum.dynamobim, and then I've got it mine set to go to Civil 3D. You can see there's just a lot in here. So you can search by geometry, you can search by label, and it can help you. And as long as you are cordial, because if you're not, you might not be a member for very long. As long as you're cordial and share what you're trying to do, there are so many people that will provide feedback and say, oh, you might be doing it a little wrong this way, or you're using the wrong node, and they'll help you.
It kind of reminds me of back in the day when people were creating Lisp routines and sharing Lisp routines, So So thanks, Matt. Matt also posted some links on the chat for some scripts and doing some Dynamo. Let's see.
So this one here by Joe and Lua He works for Autodesk. The Supercharger Dynamo Graph with the Civil 3D Toolkit from 2020. It goes over the Civil 3D Toolkit in some depth, and it kind of gives you a lot of examples. It's really robust and really great for that.
Do you typically, you're talked about putting this on a network. Do you typically try to keep a copy somewhere else in case somebody goes in there and modifies something and kind of corrupts the actual Dynamo script?
So being an admin, we put it in a location where they can only read only, they can't save it.
Okay.
And so that keeps the integrity of the script running. And the only thing that we would have to possibly change is the language that Python was written in, with them deprecating Iron Python 2.3 and going to C Python 3. I did have to update a few of them. Most people use them to let us know, but then also you can script them to run on your ribbon or from your tool palette, so that people don't have to browse to them. You see up here, I've got some that like this renumber no subset. This is a Dynamo script that I have on my tool palette or my ribbon that you can click and it'll renumber if there's no subset, 0, 1 through 200, or whatever the case might be. Or if you have a subset, or renumber by subset, add a subset, which it's live. I just haven't got the whole interface done yet. But yeah, people are able to just, it's so much easier to put them on the ribbon, let it run, and not hope that everyone can remember a network location or browse to it, or if a network location changes and it's not UNC path, but to a hard drive letter and it changes, then you've got to change all that. So
another question came in. What task are you seeing people automate with Dynamo the most?
Well, for us, hydraulic analysis, taking 200 pipes from StormCAD and updating those HGL, EGLs, inverts, and pipe sizes, being able to do that from a spreadsheet in about 20 seconds instead of, 8 hours or 10 hours. And then somebody would fat finger, and type wrong the elevation, and that's the one that the municipality would find. They always do. They only find the one area that you really mucked it up. And then they kick it back and they're say, check it all. Nobody has time to check 120 pipes of the storm network or 200, and testing it, making sure that it works, correctly, and then ensuring. We're really big on recording resource videos and sharing 5 to 8 minute clips with our teams to make sure that they know how to utilize a tool, and that's really big for us. So. Kind of like what I said at the beginning, making sure that everyone on your, in your company and your team has access to the tools. I mean, you might be the rock star and you can do it in 30 seconds, but 10 other people, it takes 4 hours. You're hurting your team more than you're helping yourself. And if you can educate all those people on your team on how to use it, you still look like a rock star. So,
that's definitely good. So, I've seen a lot of comments or stuff being shared where it's related to Sheet Set Manager. Like a lot of people are using Dynamo for renumbering sheets. So that's the most common one I've seen, is using Dynamo to renumber or do some tasks that you can't do in Sheet Set Manager right now. Any kind of repetitive labeling, Sheet Set Manager for that too. That's currently what I've seen.
No, I mean, there are things like creating a viewport. You would think that you could do it. You can do it quicker as a Lisp routine, but people are wanting to learn other ways to do it. So being able to create a viewport or create sheets is huge. If your municipality works with a lot of keynotes, you could automate keynotes, because we don't have that like AutoCAD architecture does, the keynote function. But you could add them as a subset to your sheet set, and then your labels could be fields. And as you update those sheet sets, you could remove or add them, remember them quickly. Create a table, a table legend for that. So
your first grip on the vicinity map, that was a great one, because I get a lot, as a training consultant, a lot of questions that, hey, what's your current workflow for vicinity maps? People have something on the server and just copying and cropping something from a master shapefile they've downloaded and just cropping that out and placing it in there. So this is a really good one for people to do facility maps. Definitely. I see the benefits on that. I get that every single time. How do you do your facility maps, location maps? And everyone's got different methods for it. I've seen people create a master map 3D server when they're grabbing and extracting stuff. So they had a huge giant database for all their counties built in. So, or they're using Esri, a little bit of Esri built in. So employing, downloading that stuff. So, but yeah, I definitely see the benefits of that. It makes it a lot more user friendly and more streamlined.
Yeah. No, I mean, our team's been using this for a year and it saves so much time. I need to really dig into it a little bit more to have it labeled in major streets. But it's all OSM data, all that is embedded in there. So you could extract that from the OSM's website and have it automatically label the streets too.
Yep. So. Any more questions? This kind of wraps up our webinar here, and I want to thank everyone that's joined. For those that have don't know who the DFWBIUG infrastructure is, we're a local online user group. I started in roughly 2014 on Google Plus before it got discontinued, and I host online events, webinars, trivia questions online. Justin's a member of our DFW user group. We have members from all over the United States. Some are international members. We're online every day. So we do have a lot of members that come in just to chat with me privately, and some of them chat in private with each other. It's just a fun group of members we have. We post tips and tricks. We post videos, live streaming. So if you have technical questions, we have, Justin, Justin's an industry expert. If you have a technical question, go into our user group. I'll post it here if you want to join our user group. I'm online every day. I have several people that come in just to chat with me in private, and some will come in the groups. Maybe you have your own tips and tricks you want to share on any Autodesk platform, and you want to kind of practice doing, presentations before you do AU. Some people come in just to practice. So this is a good practice platform. If you want to do a webinar, let me know. If you want to do a practice run, we're more than happy to do a webinar with you. I want to thank Justin. Great stuff. Really, I learned some great stuff. And, I've been trying to slowly learn that, and just so many things I'm trying to learn at the same time. Even non-Autodesk platforms, I'm trying to learn CAD Beyond right now, that 3D modeling software, and I'm trying to learn a little bit of Modumate. So, any final questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Dynamo works in InfraWorks, Format, Civil 3D, Revit. They're trying to make it cross-platform more and more. So, you can even take test fit data from the web and bring it into Revit using Dynamo. So it's really robust and powerful. Yeah. And we just scratched the surface. Today we didn't even dive in deep. It's just making sure that people could see it if they're unfamiliar with it, and build some scripts out that kind of are added value immediately. So,
I guess did you just say test fit the software?
Yeah. So
if you've ever used it, it's amazing software. A little pricey to me, but it's a pretty cool software. So it actually works for test fit.
It does. They had a webinar just 2 months ago or so, and it's on their website, and you can take that information from their web, because you can connect to the FEMA servers and pull in floodplains. You can bring in soils data. It's no different. You can bring in test fit data from their web app. So
that's pretty cool. So, if anybody's never joined, I posted a link in there. Come join. If you have some more questions, Justin's online almost all the time, weekly basis also, and post a question, reach out to us and let me know if you have any questions. We're going to do another one next month. Don't know the topic, or if you want to present, let me know. Send me a message. Let me post my email address here. There's my personal email address. So if you have any questions, this was recorded, so we're going to put it on the YouTube. It's going to be on. Just look up Civil CAD LS on YouTube, and we'll post this recording on the YouTube channel. So if that's okay with Justin.
Of course. Knowledge is power, and everybody here, everyone wants to see this. So.
Yeah, definitely. So any last seconds here, final seconds for some questions. Like I said, we'll post it on YouTube. I want to thank everyone that attended. and definitely join our user group. And Justin, if you want, you can post in chat your email. If somebody has a question about this and what you did today, it's, you can put it on the chat if you want to email Justin.
It's there. So I actually spelled it right too, so that's a plus. Towards the end of the webinar, get my spelling down.
I'm a bad speller, so I should laugh. So, but all right, guys, we're gonna get going here. I appreciate everybody. We'll see you next month, and also see you on our platform. All right, thanks, Justin.
Thanks again, Tony.
Bye.